Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beard, taking a look back at the Grade 1 Metropolitan Handicap, the prestigious Met Mile at beautiful Belmont Park. It was held on Belmont Stakes Saturday, and this race, of course, a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Let's break from the gate. Nick's going off at 4-5 in this field of 6. 2020 winner of the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile, winner of the 2021 Pegasus World Cup, returning from his 4th place finish in the Saudi Cup, and Nixco is able to maintain the lead. This is how he runs.
Yeah, gets right to position he wants, Dan. I mean, Silver State, the eventual winner, broke very well to his inside, but didn't really have any designs on the lead himself. He let Nixco have it. He sat in behind. Nixco all the way up the backstretch, Dan. This is absolutely perfect for him. He's got control of the pace, and he's not taking a ton of pressure.
Now, watching the head-on replay of this race, and you can watch it on in your formulator past performances, there seemed to be a lot of bouncing and bumping coming out of the gate. Did it affect any of these horses?
I mean, I don't want to say it affected anybody in this race. I feel like everybody at this stage of the game, and certainly about a furlong in, everybody got the position I think that they wanted to be in.
Keep an eye on Silver State down towards the inside. Early on the Belmont card, there were murmurs in the press box. Maybe the inside wasn't that good. Silver State is sitting a wonderful pocket trip. He is really traveling nicely. Now Carter Handicap winner Mischievous Alex on the outside in the white blinkers is putting on the pressure on Nick's Go. But Silver State's going to just shoot on through along the rail. It was a perfect trip, but Silver State really fired.
Yeah, he's very game in this race. He got an absolute perfect trip. The start had a lot to do with it, Dan. He got into a perfect position early, just sat in behind, and you saw at the top of the stretch there, Nick's Go tried to float Mischievous Alex out into the center of the track, and once he did that, the rail was wide open for Silver State, and he took advantage.
Here's By My Standards getting up for second, a little bit green with his lead changes, but a solid rally nonetheless for a solid horse who was only making his second start of the form cycle. But let's start with Silver State, who wins it at 5-1. Steve Asmussen did a wonderful job with this horse. He gave him a long break after the Louisiana Derby of 2020. Ever since he's come back, he's won 6 races in a row at distances from 7 furlongs to 1 1/8, around 1 turn and 2, 3 triple-digit buyer speed figures during that span. This horse is good, and he has options. He could go long, he could go short.
Yeah, there's just nothing to knock about him, Dan. I don't have anything to add to what you just said. You can just do whatever you want with him. He can get any kind of a trip in a race, and he still runs. He's dead game through the stretch of his races, too. He's been in a couple of dogfights, and he just comes out on top. There is absolutely nothing to knock about him. And I would argue we probably still haven't even seen his best race yet.
Now let's talk about Nick's Go, because this is a very disappointing performance. He was able to clear to the lead and to the inside from his outside post. Yes, he did try to float Mischievous Alex out, turning into the stretch, but Mischievous Alex soon got the better of him. Silver State soon got the better of them, and Nick's Go was on fumes in the stretch, and Brad Cox seems to think maybe it was the one-turn configuration that worked against him.
We'll see. I mean, I find that excuse hard to believe, but we'll see. It's certainly possible, Dan. He didn't run close to his best race in here, and I don't know why. He came out of that Saudi Cup race where I didn't think he ran great that day either. He had a long trip over there, a long trip back. Maybe that had something to do with it. I'm not really sure. This is a horse who, to me, anyway, felt like he had still a lot to prove, and he certainly didn't prove it here.
By My Standards has run really well in both starts this year, and it surprised me not because I didn't think By My Standards is good. I think he's very good, but because I thought a mile might actually be pretty sharp for him. And now he might get an opportunity to stretch out in races at Saratoga. He's run very well at a mile. He deserves another chance, obviously, if they do want to go that route. I think he might do better with slightly more distance. I'm not sure you agree with that.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, the real issue is, Dan, I don't think there are really any mile races for him through the summer that they would be pointing to that I can think of anyway. I'm sure they'll stretch him back out for some of the bigger 9 furlong races, and that's fine with him. He's very good over that distance as well. He ran well in this race. A little bit outpaced early. He wasn't too far away, but he was last early. Had to come around wide to the stretch when Nick's Go sort of floated off the inside. Of course, the winner got right through. This horse had to come widest. I still thought he had a look at it in the final furlong, but he just couldn't quite get there. Overall, very good second.
I don't think Mischievous Alex lost too much in this race. He was the winner of the Carter with the giant Beyer speed figure. The mile, I think, was a little bit of a question mark for him, but he won the pace skirmish with Nick's Go and tried hard in the stretch. It was just no match for Silver State, and by my standards, something tells me he'll be turning back this summer at Saratoga.
That seems smart. Probably cut him back to sprint distances and just see what happens in here. Outside of the distance perhaps working against him, I didn't see the excuse for him in here. Got a very good trip. This pace was not fast. He contested it around the turn. He was no match in the stretch.
Did you see an excuse for Dr. Post? And maybe just coming from last in a race like this, where the pace, as you mentioned, was not very fast, worked against him. It was only his second start as a 4-year-old coming off his win in the Westchester. Are you willing to give him a little bit of a mulligan for this race, and maybe he wants a little more ground?
I mean, I would be willing, to not totally give up on him. Boy, this was a disappointing performance, Dan. I mean, even if you want to say, being last didn't help him, he was only last because he couldn't keep up. I mean, he was under a ride basically right from the start from Johnny V and just could not keep himself up with the pace of this race. He was very disappointing here.
Let's take a look at Silver State's horse card. Again, 6 victories in a row, 7 of 11 lifetime, $1.7 million in earning. Stone Street bred. Winchell and Willis Horton own, the son of Hard Spun. It's going to be a very interesting summer for Silver State, Mike, because again, Asmussen has options. He could turn this horse back to 7 furlongs for races like the 4-Go at Saratoga. He could run this horse in longer distance races at the Spa as well. So really curious to see where this all pans out for Silver State.